Hello, and welcome to Savage Mode's Guide to Machinist. I'm Hax, etc. of Encore, and today I have with me Van Wolfen of Finale. This guide is meant for players who have already attained level 60 Machinist, but if you intend to level or already leveling Machinist, I recommend you watch this guide as well. If at any time you wish to skip to a particular section of this guide, please click either one of the 4 sections when they are up, or look in the description for the proper link. This guide will go over opening rotation and how to manage cooldowns, AoE pools, turret management to include TP and mana regen, as well as damage buffs. And finally, we'll go over tips and tricks, stat weights, food, and current bugs. If you have any feedback, please leave a comment below and we'll be sure to get back to you. This section will go over the Machinist opening rotation and how to manage cooldowns. It is very imperative that you manage to get the most out of your burst phases. You must also maintain cooldowns in between those phases as to not start a burst phase without having cooldowns ready or coming up. Let's look at the opener. You'll want to start off the fight with Gauss Barrel equipped and the Rook auto turret deployed. 5 seconds before the pool, you'll pop Hawk's Eye, Raging Strikes, and Blood for Blood, as well as Hypercharge. This should leave you with 1 second to precast your Hot Shot. From there you'll pop your Dex Potion, followed by Lead Shot, Reload, Split Shot, Wildfire, Slug Shot, Rapid Fire, Reassemble, Clean Shot, Ricochet, Split Shot, Gauss Round, Slug Shot, Head Graze, Clean Shot, Quick Reload, and drop Gauss Barrel. From there, you'll Split Shot and Blank going into your normal rotation. This rotation maximizes the damage dealt while Wildfire is up, which is the main goal of the Machinist opener. Once the opener is complete, you'll fall into the Machinist 1-2-3 of Split Shot, Slug Shot, Clean Shot, popping off global cooldown as they come up, with there only being 2 exceptions to this rule. The first is when Wildfire is coming up again. In this case, I save off global cooldowns if they won't lose that much time not being cast. Using these after Wildfire is applied will increase my Wildfire damage. The second exception is Hypercharge. Being on a 2-minute cooldown, you need to save this for your second big burst 3 minutes into the fight. At approximately 3 minutes into the fight, almost all your buffs should be coming up. As long as you've been keeping up with your Hot Shot and Lead Shot, you should be popping Hypercharge and your buffs after the Lead Shot once Hawk's Eye comes off cooldown. If you continue this rotation, you should find yourself near or on top of the parse. One last note, Gauss Barrel is only a DPS increase for Lead Shot, Head Graze, Suppressive Fire, and Blank. Other than when those abilities and weapon skills are being used, Gauss Barrel should be down unless Gauss Round or Ricochet is up. This can make things difficult with Gauss Barrel having a 15-second recast. The best thing to do is get comfortable stance dancing and use it to your advantage to increase your DPS. In this section, we'll be going over the Machinist AoE Rotation. The important thing to note in an AoE rotation is that there are abilities and weapon skills you can use while the mobs are gathering up. Let's take a look. To start your AoE rotation, you'll want to hypercharge your Bishop auto turret as soon as possible. However, if the pool is still being done, wait to summon it until the mobs are gathered up. While they're being gathered, you can take this time to Hot Shot and apply Lead Shot to as many mobs as possible. Once all the mobs are gathered, place your Bishop and hypercharge. I follow that up with Rapid Fire, Reload, and Reassemble due to not losing any time on those buffs. I then use Hawk's Eye, Blood for Blood, and Raging Strikes, followed with Wildfire on the highest HP mob. Following that, I Grenado Shot, popping off global cooldowns after each Grenado Shot. This rotation allows me to maximize damage on the mobs while still having a small burst on the higher HP mob. If you know the mobs will be up for more than 30 seconds, I recommend using Spread Shot instead. The following video is an example of an AoE pool in a dungeon. In this clip, note that the Dark Knight will tank the mobs in his Salted Earth, which makes it easier to place your Bishop and hit all the mobs. The sooner you can place your Bishop, the sooner you can start the rotation.
Thank you for those good explanations, Hacks, on the single and AoE rotations from Machinist. I'll go on about the turrets. In this section, we'll be going over auto turret TP and mana regen. Though Machinist hasn't been faced with many encounters where promotion is necessary, TP and mana regen have always been proven to be vital assets in progression. When promotion is used, while the Rook auto turret is out, it will activate an AoE buff called Muscle Relaxer. This buff will hit all party members that are within 20 yalms of the turret, and will gradually increase TP by 30 every 3 seconds. When hypercharged, the potency of TP regen will be doubled to 60 every 3 seconds. It's important to note that the Machinist also receives a hypercharged buff, unlike a Bard's Battle Voice song. The Bishop's auto turret's version of this is Mana Capacitor, mana regen similar to Ballad. When hypercharged, it will double its potency and affect its user as well. While using these is great, it is also a DPS loss. Try to use promotion during downtime in fights to lessen the amount of time you have to use them during battle. This will increase your DPS and assist the party by downing the encounter faster. For the next section, we'll go over auto turret damage and hypercharge once again. Your auto turret accounts for 10 to 15% of your DPS depending on how well you're performing yourself. The Rook auto turret has an attack potency of 80 and attacks the last mob you use a weapon skill on. Upon using hypercharge, your Rook will gain a buff that doubles its potency to 160. Hypercharge will also cause your Rook to have an additional effect that places a physical vulnerability up debuff on the mob, causing it to take an increase of 5% physical damage for approximately 25 seconds. Aligning this with your buffs and your party buffs is essential for increasing overall party DPS. The Bishop auto turret delivers a 60 potency magic based AoE attack. Upon use of the hypercharge, the Bishop will double its potency to 120. Similar to the Rook, the Bishop will place a 5% magic vulnerability up on all the mobs that it is hitting while hypercharge is in effect. The debuff will be applied for approximately 25 seconds. Think of it as a weaker version of full Requiem. Okay, so now that we went over the main parts that make up Machinist, what about the extras? How can I move better in a fight? Should I stance even when I don't have to move? What's wrong with Machinist? This section coming up will be covered by Hacks, who will cover the miscellaneous subjects coming up.
Tips and tricks. First, let's start with slide casting. Slide casting can be used to assist you in being mobile with Gospel up when you aren't going to get the proc you need. To slide cast, you simply start your movement with a little under half a second left on your cast. This won't interrupt your cast and will allow you extra time to move before your next cast. The next tip is when using your turret, popping hypercharge immediately after your pet's last auto attack will allow your pet to immediately start its charge attack, allowing for an extra pet attack. The last tip will reiterate what was said earlier. Stancing. Regardless of if you need to move or if you're stationary, stancing is a DPS increase. The potency gain you get from Gospel does not outweigh the DPS of an auto attack. The math to show is in the description below. Stat weights. Though we're early in the expansion, we have a general idea of how our stats weigh currently. As far as priority of offstats, crit, det, and skill speed is what you want to use. Understand that as you gain more skill speed, the effectiveness of Gospel will increase due to the ratio of weapon skill to auto attacks being higher with a lower global cooldown. Bugs. Lastly, I'm going to go over current bugs. Rapid Fire. This ability has one small bug, in that it will occasionally give you a full cast time with no time to use an off-global cooldown when it is initially used. The next bug involves dropping Gospel and getting a cast time on Split Shot. This is similar to the Rapid Fire bug in that you'll get the full cast time of Split Shot while being able to move without interrupting your cast. You will also have no time to use an off-global cooldown after their shot has gone off. Lastly, we are still waiting on an official word from the devs, but it seems the turrets are not getting the increased attack damage 2 trait attained to level 40. This would mean the Machinist turrets are missing out on 20% damage, but has not yet been confirmed. Thank you for watching Savage Mode's guide on Machinist. I hope this has helped you in some way. To close, I'd like to quote the great Yoship in saying, "Get good, or please uninstall."
Please uninstall.